Yeah. So not everyone wants to say what they do, how they do, who they got it from, because there's this fear of, oh my God, you're going to come and overtake me and do better than me. So then what about the fundamentals? The same way we are taught the basics of chemistry and such. The people I work with, we think around, let's give people an opportunity to understand the basics of starting a business so they start up right.
Yeah, well, that's a lot.
Sorry, yeah.
Good stuff. I like that. So, just to get started, what are some of the most important insights that you've learned so far in your life when it comes to entrepreneurship in Kenya? You know what I mean? Because I feel like the business environment, according to what we read on the news, and because we're in this media space, they say it's very difficult right now to thrive in business, especially for early entrepreneurs. Yeah. So, what's the most important insight that you've learned when it gets to starting business in Kenya in this day and age?
Get your customers right. Yeah. So, the biggest, is it a gap or a handicap I've seen, is a lot of people are starting businesses either as a wave. So you start a business, it's doing well, so I think if I do it, it should do well. And then it doesn't, and then I'm pissed off. Yeah. Right? Well, you either started it because of a passion or a gap you identified, like there's a problem in the market, in the society, and you wanted to fill it. Yeah. So then I will come in without that inspiration and vision and motivation, so I will not push through, and the business likely will not succeed. That's one. Number two, others are just selling for the sake of selling, so you're not really paying attention to what people want. So for example, women are the easiest people to sell events to, because for some reason we like having a good time and we like yapping. So give us a space to either yap, dance, or have a good time. We will come.
You're going to turn up.
We will turn up.
I like that.
Yeah. So if you're going to sell to anything to anybody, you have to take some time and identify, okay, which market am I looking at? So for example, anyone who tries to bring foreign products to Kenya, you have to ask yourself, do Kenyans behave in this particular way? Do they buy these certain things? Do they even want these certain things? What problem am I solving? And a problem is not necessarily like a hunger or climate change. A problem could be as simple as there are not enough hair clips in Nairobi, and women need hair clips, so I'm going to do that. Men want customized baseball caps, and you give it to them. Or all the barbershops are very dingy with the girls with the giving the and then you want to offer something better because you've listened to people and you've understood this is a gap and I can fill it. So once you do that, all these conversations about funding kind of slip away, because that's what our parents did. They started businesses to fill a gap, to solve an existing problem in the market. So if you don't have a market fit, if you don't have customers to buy what you're selling, if you don't have demand for your supply, it's not going to work. So that's the biggest problem we have. People are just starting businesses for the sake of it. Yeah.
While you're speaking, I'm thinking about innovation as well. So while you're looking for solutions, you got to be creative, innovative, come up with a product that stands out. So what are some of the challenges that one can go through while creating an innovative product, and how do you navigate that process?
All right, so I think in the startup world, I'll maybe...
Generally, early entrepreneurs, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so innovation has been almost coined and segmented to startups because it's disruption and technology being used, right? In a very heavy way, fintechs, insurtechs, edtech, all that jazz. But everyday MSMEs can also be innovative without being disruptive, right? So some of the gaps people are having is lack of awareness, lack of education, lack of access. So you know about AI, but you don't really understand AI. So then you say you're starting an AI business, but even you yourself can't explain AI, right? Or lack of network. Sometimes, and especially in this day and age, your network is really, truly your net worth. Those doors, like I know you, so you open a door for me to have. And so. Yeah. And then it leads me to another market or an investor or clients I never knew of, or even just a mentor who can walk me through different things. So there's a lot of challenges for early entrepreneurs, but the lack of access, lack of information or education has become a fundamental problem. But there are a lot of people coming in to offer and extend support to fill that gap.
Oh, right.
Yes.
Yeah, and you get those people through networking.
Yeah. So there are a lot of tech networking events, but it feels like a if you know, you know kind of thing. Yeah. I spend a lot of time on LinkedIn not to look for work, but because a lot of people post these things. So if you actually pay attention to that, I think there's a page on Instagram called, I can't remember, something tech events, that a lot of updates on places you could go to network, because I've seen people get investors, get mentors, get co-founders, get customers just from exposing yourself in that way and being seen and being heard.
Yeah. So you should get out there, Steph.
Beyond this world,
Yeah.
Yeah, JP had a question.
Yeah, I'm just curious to know, and this entrepreneurship thing is really hard for people. Me as an entrepreneur myself.
Yeah.
But how do you navigate these issues? And when you're talking to someone who wants to be an entrepreneur, because you help them, guide them through the flow.
Yeah.
How would you disseminate between just an idea, just a random trendy idea, and something that's really gonna work?
Yeah.
So there's this thing my mom tells me, and I've heard it a lot: anointing flows from the head, right? This is a Christian coin. A lot of things flow from the founder's brain, right? So how you speak tells a lot about where this thing is going. Kind of like the man is the head of the family, the CEO leads a company. It always comes down to who's leading the ship, the captain of the ship, right? So, for example, I went to a networking event, and no, it wasn't a networking event. I was actually conducting a training, on 3 days of entrepreneurship, right? So one of them comes up to me and says, hey, you know, I have this idea, I'm a tailor, I make clothes. I'm like, great. It's like, so I want to use tech to help people, fit their clothes better from home. I'm like, great. It's like, so help me figure that out. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. Because as an entrepreneur, as a founder, you should actually put yourself in a position where you go out of your way to figure this out.
Yeah.
You can't tell me, so I have this land and I'm thinking of growing crops, and but like, you tell me how to do it. Fam, there's Google, there's TikTok, there's so many resources, even ChatGPT. There's so many resources that one could tap into to figure out the basics, the fundamentals of things, right? So what I look for is how you talk about this business you're running. So a lot of people come like that, and I'm not going to help them, because then if I tell you to do something and it fails, it'd be like, but Z said, so it's your fault. I'm like, no, I'm supposed to guide you on the hiking path. Babs, because you want to hike up Mount Kilimanjaro. So then I can tell you, wear these boots, have this jacket, you should have this because it does this, but this path that has snakes, it's shorter,
You've got a sense of humor.
Yeah, so I'm not going to tell you, you should think about Mount Kilimanjaro. No, fam, you need to come to Mount Kilimanjaro and then we can figure it out. And by the time you're coming to Mount Kilimanjaro, you've done Mount Kenya, you've done Elgon, you've done a couple of hills. So that means you've been on a journey where you've tried to figure things out. It's almost similar to those who join the programs I'm in, and their first question is funding. Like, do you have traction? Traction is, have you sold to anybody? Do you have any customers in your base, in your database? Do you have anybody? No. I'm like, okay, so you think someone will give you money for an idea? Money they worked hard for, money they saved, money they've invested for something even you don't believe in because you've not done anything with it. So it's the same kind of struggle sometimes. So I just listen to what you're saying. If you've done nothing with the idea, if you sound like a yes idea.
While you're speaking, but sorry to cut you short. I'm reminded of something my uncle used to tell me. It's like, you guys, you this was when I was a Gen Z. It was like, oh, Kev, you guys like romanticizing these amazing ideas of yours. So the whole AI conversation was very rife in the country. No one was really in those spaces. And we started a coding school. And it's like, so you want to tell me in this country that people who are going to actually go to this school of yours and get jobs out of it, why do you like romanticizing this thing? I'm like, uncle, we check you online, all these coding schools are there, but I get what you're saying. So we get so caught up in the ideation of your business, instead of you getting out there and doing market research, and then you come up with a product, and of course now you have to test whether the product actually works. You know what I mean? Whether people can actually buy this product. But I want to go back to that thing for networking. And for me, one thing I was taught when I was growing up is you need to be around people who are very successful. Because that energy rubs off on you, especially when you're starting off in business. You know what I mean? So you can ask them questions, But I'm also imagining, how do I create a balance? Like, should I spend most of my time hanging out with successful guys like JP or Steph? Or should I be in the market engaging with, especially if I have proof of concept, if my product, I can see it's already, people are interested in it. Should I be focused mostly on the customer or on the networking part and learning the ropes of the biashara, especially off of people who are successful in that lane? How do you create a balance?
Wow, that's a good question. It takes me back to a business I used to run. It wasn't mine. I didn't found it, but I did end up running it as MD at 23, 24. And I had to find that balance where on one hand I need to run a team in Nairobi, in Mombasa and Kericho at the same time. I need to go out and get contracts with customers, but at the same time I need to network, but I still need to manage flow of money, but I still need to manage the vendors, but I still need to make sure we're being seen enough to look valid enough to be trusted, and then be able to have customers that I can follow up on.
There you go.
So unfortunately, an entrepreneur's life can be a bit challenging, and a bit is silent. It's quite challenging because you have to make some sacrifices, and that's why I was saying, like, if you have not made any sacrifices, you're not serious about even you don't believe in your own idea. So unfortunately for me at the time, because I was still learning, I would work I used to be in the office by 6 a.m. and I used to leave the office at 10 p.m. So my days were meetings, my late afternoons were those cocktail mixers and getting to know people in meetings, and then my evening till 10 was admin work, now following up on any documents that need to be done. Luckily for me, the founder himself had time now to go look for the money, so I just had to manage the ship and make sure things were going okay. Other people now in that perspective would look for a co-founder. If you know your strength, like tech-based guys, there are techies who just think of solutions, and they're very good on the back end. They're not good with the front, they're not good with people or getting the sales, so you get a co-founder. That's one way to look at it, where one of you goes out and does the thing and announces the thing, and the other person works on the back end and makes sure the thing is working well. So some people go for co-founders, others are even 3. It's advisable to not go beyond 3. It gets a bit messy. It's kind of like a relationship with a third person. It gets a bit messy. Other people do find the delicate balance where you just know for 2 years I'm just going to be grinding, and I don't have the time. But to answer your question a bit more specifically, focus more on the customers. Because then you need to have an MVP that you can take to market.
Correct.
And it works. And you need to also have the time to take feedback from the said customers who tell you, actually, this thing doesn't do the thing you said it was going to do, or it's taking too long for me to do this, so I think I'll drop off. So then you can now keep adjusting your product until it fits the market you're looking to. And sometimes you even find out that's not a problem I have, so I'm not going to buy it. And then you're taking time to take in feedback, you realize, actually, this is a problem I should be solving. It has a bigger market, a bigger need, there's more noise about it, so then you pivot. But you can only do that if you're paying attention to the product itself or the service itself, and a bit less so of the networking. But it does help, because there's something my mentor told me: someone can only lead you as far as they've gone. So if I've just been a project manager, there's no way I can lead you to being a CEO or a founder. If I've never had maybe $1 billion worth of revenue, I can't tell you the struggles and the bumpy road to get into that. So that's where the networking is important. But I would maybe emphasize more on trying to get a mentor or mentors who can guide you, and then that reduces a bit of the networking, because then I can just call you, say, hi, I'm trying to get this done, and I think I need help with this. Can you help? Actually, no, I know Kev, I know JP, he can do this and this and this for you. So that changes the dynamic of it.
Okay, hold it right there. Guys, Gitahi is in the building. She's an entrepreneurship specialist, and we're talking all things turning bold ideas into impactful solutions. We're coming back with more conversations. I've got some Calligraph Jones, Bridget Blue, the Mac is back.
You are tuned in to Nairobi's #1 soul station, SpiceFM.
You gotta join them. If you cannot be there, you gotta join them.
Picture me rolling, get your camera, take a snap. Shorty been eyeing me, she probably think I'm a snack. Could it be that guap, I'm young, rich and I'm black? But whatever the case, this with the return of the Mac. They ask me what the hell you been, I've been deep in the pits. Well now I'm back on the surface, cause you needed a fix. And I keep it gangster, yo, I'm G'd this bitch. But if the post come action, then I'm pleading the fifth. All eyes on me, the Mac is back, the African. Nice city, back to Amsterdam. And I'm not from Asia, but I surely package stands, couldn't stop.